All right, guys, on Friday, we did checking account registries, right? We've worked on how to write a check, how to write it in our registry, keeping track of what we have. The other flip side of that is you need to learn how to balance your checkbook or reconcile your bank statement. Most of you probably have heard balance checkbook. You've probably heard that phrase before. But that's what we're going to look at today. Like once the bank gives you your monthly statement, how do you go through that versus what you have and kind of see how things match up, okay? So some vocab words for us first. A statement that includes all transactions that have occurred for a period of approximately 1 month, that is called your bank statement. So the banks, depending on, again, how you've set up your accounts and whatnot with your bank, they used to mail them every month. Probably anymore, they usually email them. Or you just get a notice, hey, get on our website, your bank statement's available, something like that. All right, for number 2, a statement period is the dates that indicate the range of dates in which the transactions occurred. Typically, they're not like January 1st to January 31st. They'll be like, like January 15th through February 14th, something like that, okay? So they don't always go beginning of month to end of month. They're dependent upon, morning, Tyler. They're dependent upon when you've set up your accounts to begin with. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so number 3, the starting balance, that's the amount of money in an account at the beginning of your statement period. So your statement runs from like January 15th to February whatever, then it would be how much money was in there January 15th when it started, and then it gives you everything that's happened in the last month, and then it will give you, instead of a starting balance, it will give you an ending balance for the last one. The ending balance is the one that we will look at as we're going through your check registries and trying to reconcile it or balance it, okay? All right, number 5, deposits that do not appear on the bank statement are known as outstanding deposits. Doesn't mean they're like amazing outstanding, but outstanding meaning they haven't like cleared through the bank yet. You wrote a check to grandma for something and grandma never went to the bank and she didn't cash it. You may have written down that it should have come out of your account, but it actually didn't, okay? Oh, sorry, I said, you wrote a check to grandma. Sorry, that was deposits. That would have been outstanding checks there. Sorry. Outstanding deposits, money that you've deposited, it just didn't show up on there yet. Maybe you took a picture of your check to deposit it, and it didn't clear through the bank yet before your statement was set out. Okay, so if something's outstanding, it just means it hasn't cleared the bank yet. And then balancing a checkbook or reconciling a bank statement, whatever types of terminology you want to use there, that's the process of verifying the bank's records to make sure no errors have been made. Is it possible the bank made an error when they did your account? Absolutely. Okay. I think a lot of people anymore just assume, the bank did it, I'm sure it's right. It's not always right. So you need to always double check. When they send you those monthly statements, even if you're an online banking person like I am anymore, I don't actually go through this process, which we're going to do today, paper pencil wise, but I do look at it, okay? Or I know a lot of you, I think, had mentioned, like, you get on your bank account every day, right? You look and see what has happened because you want to catch right away. If something's on there, you're like, I don't know what that is. Like, that wasn't me. You need to catch that right away. All right, so to balance your checkbook or to reconcile your bank statement, you need to compare the entries in the check register with the bank statement. So when you're doing this process, I remember doing this paper and pencil. I would sit with like my check registry here, I'd sit with my bank statement here, pen or pencil in hand, and I was checking them off to making sure that things matched up. Literally checking them off, okay? So you will enter a check mark, checking them off, for each deposit and check listed on your statement. So it's kind of like you're playing the matching game. Oh, got that one here, got that one there, right? Your check, 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 making sure they're all there. Then you'll look at any outstanding transactions that have not been marked off, withdrawals or deposits, and you'll kind of calculate their total, and I'll break that down for you. Okay? And then you're going to complete the following steps. So you'll start with the ending balance. Now that's on the bank statement, what it says, it'll say ending balance, and it'll have a number there. Start with that. You'll add any outstanding deposits. So things that have not cleared the bank yet, any of those, you'll add those back in. You'll subtract any outstanding withdrawals, and then that should equal your revised statement balance. So that should make your bank statement equal what your check registry says. They should match. If they don't match, that's when you freak out and you're like, oh my God, where did I mess up somewhere? Right? And you got to figure that out. Okay. So you have this in front of you, so hopefully it's a little larger than what I got up here. A little bit. Sorry. All right, so below is a bank statement and check register for Michael's checking account. What steps are needed to reconcile Michael's bank statement? So we're going to play the little matching check game, okay? So we're going to go through and check off, and kind of see where we're at. So if I'm looking, here's his bank statement. All right, the first thing it has is a deposit of $35. Do you see a deposit of $35 in his check registry? Now, one of the nice things is you should have separate columns for deposits and withdrawals, right? So you look at like, oh, there it is. So you put a little check mark next to the 35. I'm going to check mark next to the 35 up here just so I know, yeah, I found that one. Again, so check, 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 check. So the next one's a deposit of 100. Now notice they already had a deposit of 100 checked off. That means on last month, that one got checked off. Okay, but there's another 100 down here at the bottom. So I'm going to check that one off, and that one. And then notice we're in withdrawals, and apparently they were all checked because they all have check numbers next to them. So we have 158.08. Do you see a 158.08? Check that off with the 158.08. Then I have 46.50. All right, there it is. Check, check. 74.64. All right, check, check. And then 19.50. Oh, way up at the top there. 19.50. Check. All right, so once you've checked off everything on that bank statement, then we have to kind of go through and see what's kind of missing. All right, so the ending balance on my bank account statement is where we always start with. Now, the ending balance isn't always like right at the bottom. Sometimes it's at the very top of the statement, depending on how your bank sets things up. But we're going to always start with that. So 628.23, right? That's your ending balance. You're going to subtract any outstanding withdrawals. So go through your withdrawals. Which ones were not checked off? There's a 50 that's not checked. There's an 18 that's not checked. And a 29.10 that's not checked off. And a 15. So you can see all the ones I did not check off. So you're going to grab your calculator, and I'm going to go ahead and total those up so I can see what they are. So I had a 50, 18, 29.10, and 15. So altogether was 112.10. Those were my outstanding withdrawals. Okay, so we'll subtract that off. Minus 112.10. So 516.13. And then do you have any outstanding deposits? Good. You had 120, but that one at the very bottom, right? It's the only one that wasn't checked. So that's a deposit, so we'll add that back in. So add that one back in, 125. You get 641.13. Uh-oh, did we lose something? We didn't balance. What happened? Starting balance shouldn't matter. Starting balance is going to vary based on where it falls. I don't care about starting. We're looking at ending balance. The what? Oh, thank you. I really need to go home and go back to bed. It does match, sorry. I'm telling you, it's cold, it's kicking my butt. Thank you. There we go. They should balance, and they did. You guys are better at this than I am. All right, but are we okay with kind of that process there? You're like, check, 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 and then you're like, all right, which ones are still outstanding I didn't check off? Subtract the ones out that didn't get subtracted. Add the ones back in, they should match. Okay. All right, example 2. Nancy has a balance of $1,078 in her check register. The balance on her bank account statement is $885.84. Not reported on her bank statement are deposits of $575 and $250, and 2 checks for $195 and $437.84. Is her check register balanced? So they just really took what we just did and they just wrote it out in words. Okay, so what was the ending balance? Right, the ending balance from the bank. And that's one thing we want to make sure. The ending balance is always from the bank statement. All right, so the ending from the bank statement was $885.84. And we want to add back in the deposits. So how much of deposits did we have? We had $575 and $250. So $825. These were deposits that were still outstanding. So we'll add those back in. And then we had 2 checks. What's it mean if we have 2 checks? Is that money that was coming in or money checks I wrote to somebody else? What do you guys think? Bless you. Say it again, Nathan. What do you think it's referring to in this one? He wrote them, yeah. Sometimes you got to read between the lines a little bit. But yeah, so we have 2 checks. So we have $195 and $437.84. So $632.84. So these were outstanding withdrawals. So 1710.84. We got to subtract off the 632. You get 1,078. So the question was, is her check register balanced? Yes or no? How do you know it is? It matches. If what she has matches now once we did that, then we're good. Yes, it did balance. How you guys like that? Your math for today is literally adding and subtracting. Yeah, nice. It's okay. All right, that's not so bad. Whoa. What is what? Withdrawal, sorry. WD was withdrawal. I'm just using lazy shorthand. All right, last one down here, guys. So use Tina Weaver's monthly statement and check register to reconcile her accounts. All right, so should we just go through and do our check mark thing right away? Yeah, let's do that. So I'll do mine, you do yours, and we'll see where we're at, okay? So we'll do just the checking part, like check, 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 check. How's the matching game going? Is that fun? Come on, it's a little fun, right? A little fun? All right, once you've gone through and done the little check mark game, then we always start with the ending balance. So 1434.19. And we're going to, let's add in any deposits. Do we have any deposits that weren't accounted for? You got a 700. It's the only one. So we're going to add back in 700. So 2134.19. And then what about outstanding withdrawals? Do you have many? good. We had a 50 and a 39, so 89. So we're going to subtract out the 89. So we're at 2,045.19. All right, so if we go back up to the top, we had parts A through F. So part A, what is the ending balance on the statement? Well, ending balance on the statement was the 1434.19. So 1434.19. Part B, what is the total of the outstanding deposits? Good. Right here. So this is part B. I'm going to be lazy here. Part C, total of the outstanding withdrawals. 89. There's part C. Part D, what is the revised statement balance? Oh, what was that terminology asking for? What is the revised statement balance? Yes, it's the 2,045. So that's part D. Yep, that's what it was looking for. What is the balance of the check register? See the balance of the check register right here? Here's part E. Does the account reconcile? Does it balance? Does it match? Yes, it does. Whew, hard stuff today, right? We are literally adding and subtracting. Yeah, we had 2045.19, 2045.19, so they reconciled, they match.